Sweet.
Jeff?
Oh, man, mine pales. I've been looking at houses, and we're finally starting to warm up. And I really hate printers. I will just say that now. Because it took away a lot of my New Dawn gameplay time.
I'm trying to see where that fits into games, comics, and culture.
Because I hate printers. Well, I went and bought ink for my printer, and it cost me $130. And then it didn't work because the print heads were dried out and old. So to replace both the print heads, that was another $180. And I said, suck it. And I went, and it was cheaper, and I bought a new printer rather than...
Wow, that's hardcore.
Well, it is hardcore, but...
What about New Dawn?
What about New Dawn? Dude, New Dawn continues to be awesome. It is finally... It's really stepped up, and, you know, usually games where they have the side quests, and you're just like, I'll just get through the story. I find myself chasing shiny objects and just roaming off. I got this one NPC that has a bow and arrow. He's pretty awesome. He's called the Judge.
Yeah, I got him. Yeah.
He is badass.
Yeah, he's cool.
How's the setup of the game? Like with co-op, you can play two people at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done co-op yet.
Yeah, from what I hear is
on me.
Yeah. From what I hear, the way the co-op works is you can join into a person's game. You don't progress your own story. But if Jeff was hosting the co-op, I could play with him doing his missions as my character. But awesome. It wouldn't progress the story in my game.
That's pretty sweet, though. So I think that's the same for Far Cry 5, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if any of you guys get Far Cry 5 and you want to do the co-op, you know, I beat the game, Corey's beat the game, we could jump on it and help you.
I'd really like to try.
I got to say, though, that's actually a negative for me. Like, the way that we play co-op games, we're always playing together, and if I wasn't progressing the story, that would definitely be a negative for me.
If you bought it and we're playing at the same time, I could see that, because then you have to go and rehash it. But in our case, where I've already beat it last year, Corey just beat it. If you
it'd be cool. If you get either guys,
because
we could join you at any point.
I can see the negative if we bought the game at the same time and wanted to play through it, kind of like State of Decay 2. But this is actually a good way too, because you know, say you beat it and then one of your sons wanted to start playing it, you could jump in and help them out because you've already
but there's lots of games where you can do both.
True.
This game's only giving you one option.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It makes up for that negative. It's not a hard pass with that negative, I don't think.
Is it a strong single-player story?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a single-player game that you could play co-op.
Gotcha.
Ubisoft has always been good with single-player stories. They really have. You think about all their games, and I look at my library, and I have like this entire library of Ubisoft games, and I like their stealth. They do stealth right in a game.
I totally agree with. I like their stories a lot too. They could be pretty mailed in for how many they pump out, but I've enjoyed every one that I've played through to the end.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, that was pretty much my week. I just hate printers. And
Jeff hates Nintendo and printers.
Gotcha. I went snowboarding again this week. I'm a good snowboarder now. I used to like worry about like you get to like spots that are kind of flat where if you're a bad snowboarder and don't have up enough speed, you can't get through them and you got to take off your shit and walk and all this stuff. Like that doesn't even faze me anymore. I'm just down. I'm doing it. It took me years, but I'm finally there.
Can you do like backflips yet, or just like only 360s?
At his age, that's not a good idea.
So I fell one time yesterday, and when I fell, I felt my spine pop in like 7 different spots.
Oh,
like,
are you super raw at the end of your session?
Yeah, I'm super thankful that I own a hot tub, and I sit in that thing and smash.
It's a good workout though, man.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. I really love it. It's really great and just awesome scenery and nice day. Really nice, really awesome. And I live in a place. It was the best ever snow for me. Best ever. Not once was there like icy spots or slick spots. It was all snow that I could carve in everywhere. It was
right.
Really
you
good.
Go to the Michigan places, it's all ice.
Right.
Like,
right. That's not fun. But anyways, to actually games, comics, and culture, and to Dirk's point, I'm still playing The Walking Dead season 3. Still don't like it. I'm through episode 3 at this point. We'll see where this goes. But I loved season 1 and season 2. Loved, and hate season 3 so far. So got 2 more episodes. So we'll see how that goes. I think of our crew for us who produce a podcast for years. I'm the only one who really listens to podcasts, and just want to throw out there that I found Dragon Talk, the official D&D one. Yeah. It is so great. It's so great. I can't stress enough how great it is. Lots of episodes. The highlights to me are when the designers of the game talk about their design choices.
Perkins.
Yeah, it's mainly Perkins, but not just him. There's a lot of other people as well. It really kind of, some of the things that I question about the rules in the books, they explain to me why it's like that, and then I think, okay, I get it, and awesome. And they'll go in depth. Like there was a couple weeks ago, I listened to one where they just talked about mimics for like a half an hour, and like their history of mimics, and like what if you're playing with them, like how does a mimic live like outside of the game, right? So like and they really think about, like, if you're going to build a dungeon on your own, not just, like, making a map and throwing in monsters, like, really thinking about, like, the ecology of that dungeon and how everything kind of survives and you know, where do things go to the bathroom, right? Like, all kinds of stuff is just really, really opening my mind to it. And this week's show was all about Saltmarsh, and really, really cool. Really can't recommend it enough if you're into D&D. So, Dragon Talk. Yes, Dirk.
I was going to say, 5e really is a wonder of design because you have guys like Monty Cook and other past designers that aren't with the company anymore that are adapting their own games with 5e.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
Right.
As long as I can remember, they've never done that. So they're like cross-platforming with that rule set because it's so smart and just well done.
Yep. I will say the one negative thing that I took away is, like, they talked about how Saltmarsh isn't in what's the world that
Greyhawk.
Greyhawk, yeah. They talked about how they made it like generic instead of Greyhawk so that you could adapt it to whatever. Yeah. And I don't like that. I wish that they would start building these other worlds into 5e now and official, right? And
I feel the same way.
Yeah, so hopefully that's coming, but whatever. But anyways, Dragon Talk, I recommend it to everybody. It's really, really, really great.
I'm going to start watching it.
You know, I did listen to Dragon Talk. It was the one about mental health.
Oh, I don't know if I listened to that one.
Yeah,
I don't know if I heard that one.
And that was the one I listened to when you mentioned it like a couple weeks ago. And so I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. And this was the one where they, like, got the Snowmageddon in Seattle, and that's all they bitched about was the snow. And I was like, I don't care. I got it too.
I'll be honest. I will be honest. I'm not the greatest fan of the hosts. Like the first 20 minutes when they just chit chat back and forth, I don't like. But once they start going into their interviews and kind of specialty segments and stuff, it's really, really great stuff.
I'll listen to the Saltmarsh one this week.
Yeah, check it out. It's great. It's really great. So finally, the highlight of my week, I finally got around to Descendants.
Oh!
Dirk gave it to me for Christmas. I fucking love it.
I do it. You see, I picked
so great.
Every book
so great.
That person. That's it. Talk about it.
This was
awesome.
We will absolutely do this for the CBBC one of these days. What I'll just say is, like, my quick pointer is, like, I can't imagine, I can't remember a book where I really enjoyed how the artwork played off of the story like this one.
Dustin Nguyen.
You would think almost any sci-fi story that I've ever been a part of has very distinct, tight art. And the watercolor work in this is very, at first I was like, oh, okay, well, it's beautiful. But then you start to realize as the story progresses how it kind of portrays the story as well in a way that I really can't talk about without spoiling it. But it's a great, great book. Jeff Lemire, I know that's one of Dirk's favorite authors for sure. The artist is Dustin Nguyen.
Win.
Yeah. Anyways, I loved it. Thank you, Dirk.
I'm on volume 6 right now, and I'm telling you, it does not let up.
Yeah,
it is incredible all the way through, and they just ended it. I think volume 6 is the end of the series, and they're starting a new one called Ascender.
Yep. I researched all that after I finished it. Yeah, I'll definitely read the whole book. It's great. Yeah. So that's my week. Corey, what you got?
Nice. Nothing really new this week, but I got more in depth into a lot of things. Last week I was kind of iffy on Thronebreaker. Been playing the Witcher card game, RPG, and I've been playing it more this week, and I'm really, really liking it now. It's at first, like going through the tutorial, it just seemed like it was Gwent with running in between matches, and that's not what it is at all. It's
they told you.
Tons of story choices, and the different card games. It's cool. Most of the encounters are shortened to 1 round, because Gwent's played in 3 rounds, and then there's specific rules, and like some of them are puzzles where you have to like they give you a set amount of units, and you have to. The way to win the round is to lower each enemy card to 1 HP, and then you win the round. So it's like they put crazy rules into each battle and stuff. And then just the way you can your troops morale changes depending on the choices you make and stuff. And then and the story is really cool now. So definitely digging it a lot more than I was last week.
Did you see also, Corey, there's a mode in that where you can actually skip the battles?
Really?
It's just called like story mode, and you can just play through the story of the game.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd have as an option anyways. I'd want to play the games, but
I really like it. Makes me actually want to get Gwent again. I wish Gwent was on Switch. Nintendo, if you're listening, I think it would be great for the Switch. And I would buy it. But other than that, I after we did the Umbrella Academy show, the next day I binge watched the whole season, and it was really good. There was I'd say there's a lot of parts in it where they try to be artsy and stuff like Legion, and they don't pull it off, and it seems kind of cheesy and stuff. And there's the actual ending itself, I was kind of disappointed, but overall I really liked it all the way through. I mean, it was.
I think that just speaks to how great Legion is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the budget that they have and everything, that they do pull that stuff off is very surprising.
Right. Yeah. But really good. I'm hyped for the next season. I give it an 8 out of 10. And other than that, I played a ton of Towerfall. Towerfall is like the surprise hit of the past year for me. I played it at work with 4 friends sitting in the lobby after we closed, and then I played it at video game night on the Switch on my buddy's TV, and then me and my roommate been playing it a couple nights this week on his PS4, and it's just such a fun local multiplayer game. I love it. But
I'll throw out there before we end this segment also, American Gods is right now while we're recording. So I'm looking forward to that, getting back into that. You'll probably hear me babble about that all the way up to Game of Thrones.
2 words, Crispin Glover. Season 2.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's it though. That's our week.
News of the week. Nobody followed me up. There you go.
I got
Thank you. You left me hanging. Jesus Christ.
I got my buddy Spidey next to me.
Ah, I got you. Okay, so we have a three-way tie between three items. So I put 2 at the in 5 and 5A, and then we have 4. So kicking it off, number 5.
Did it that way.
Number 5, Critical Role animated special Kickstarter reaches 3 million.
In an hour. Wasn't it like an hour?
Well, they got 1 million in an hour, but 3 million in 2 days.
That's crazy.
And
I think they're up to 4 now.
yeah, and they're gonna. So it was originally gonna be a one-time thing, but now they're just doing a whole series because play with house money, I guess.
4 million.
Yeah.
Make a badass cartoon with that, I would think.
Yeah, man, it just blows my mind how much their fan base is just massive. And I don't watch them. I don't have anything against them. I think it's a great show. I just don't really follow it that much. It's really long to watch and listen to. But I love that they have that much support and that their fan base is that big. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They're building the brand right now, right, and getting all these people into the game. I will say to some degree, it is a little bit out of balance. Like I try go and search out a bunch of different shows like theirs because I want shorter ones that I can listen to each week, and there's a lot of other great stuff out that if this money could be like distributed a little bit, and I'm not even talking about the Labyrinth Lifers. I'm talking about these kind of high quality like professional actors and stuff. You know what I mean? That make it like a radio show, as opposed to a D&D game. And but more power to them. The more publicity that happens, the more money that's in D&D, the more books we're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what I care about.
I'm kind of hopefully it's like animated and stuff. I'd be down to watch it. I mean,
if it's D&D,
I'd rather watch an animated series of it with their voices than just watch them all sitting there talking. Well, it might
if they rekindled like the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from the 80s, that would be kind of sweet. Because
wouldn't it be badass if the Labyrinth Lifers could be
animated? Oh,
I don't know. We're a different thing. We are a different thing.
What about an anime take on Labyrinth Lifers? How badass
would be.
Side note, I watched Matthew Colville's his streaming show where he DMs for I think 5 people. That has been my favorite. I don't really watch it. Yeah, I don't really watch a whole bunch or listen to a whole bunch of games outside of ours. I know it's terrible, but I connected with his the most out of the ones that I've heard. It felt very similar to us, and we're kind of sardonic, and our sense of humor is really kind of dark at some points, and then also just flat, I felt a kinship to that sarcasm a little bit, so.
Yeah, and I feel like Colville's games and the WebDM games also are very much just people playing D&D, as opposed to like Critical Role is like a show.
Acting.
You know what I mean?
Acting.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, number 5A. Arrow will end with season 8. Jeff, you want to tackle this?
I was a little shocked when I saw the news on this, but watching halfway through season 8 right now, I'm kind of glad that they're ending it before it goes downhill.
Oh, so it's the current season
this is the current season, and I was watching it up until they did the Arrowverse crossover with Supergirl and the Flash, and then right after that is when the Punisher season 2 came out, and then I watched that, and so after watching a Marvel TV show on Netflix and then trying to go back to the DC one,
right?
It wasn't working.
Doesn't work.
It wasn't working. Because it's just they're dragging it out, and they need just they need to end it. So I'm glad that they are ending it finally, but I'd be curious.
It's a good run.
It was a good run. I mean, 8 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus they keep pumping out new ones, and they can only have so many DC shows on the CW.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
I feel like also like they kind of pioneered comic book TV for the current day, right? Like he Arrow was the start of kind of what is happening now, and
I was
it
totally
is.
into it.
Yeah, the CW has this like B soap opera-y feel, right? But there's still it's still something to be said for just, I think the popularity of it as it took off kind of opened up things for where they are today,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't watch it now, but me and Dad were both super into the first few seasons. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like they missed the opportunity with Batman, though. Why not have Batman? I don't get it, but whatever. I'm down.
Well, they do have a Batman one. It's called Gotham, and that's wrapping up this year too.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Batman in the Arrowverse.
Oh.
If you got Supergirl and you have Superman in it, why isn't Batman in it? I feel like missed opportunity.
They did allude to it with Batwoman.
Batwoman.
And
that's not enough for me, Jeff.
I know. I'm just saying, they said that Bruce had left Gotham, Bruce had left Gotham for a reason.
Yeah.
And when they went to Gotham in the Arrowverse,
we need full bat in the Arrowverse. Make it happen, CW.
they won't.
Go. Number 4.
Number 4.
EA will skip the E3 press conference this year.
Yeah.
Knew this was going to happen, huh? The dominoes are falling.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to see. I don't know if we'll see any more pullout before E3 this year, but I think that with some of the major players starting to pull out now, I think that E3 is not going to be around in a couple more years.
It reminded me of the streaming service war that's going on right now.
I gotta say though, E3's press conference sucks. Always has sucked. That's the one that I'm willing to skip. They are the most like investor focused. Yeah, did I say E3? I meant EA.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very focused on investors, and they spend I don't know 45 minutes of their show talking about their sports titles every year, and that's not what we care about.
But it's in the game.
Yeah, right. Yep. But go ahead, Corey.
They did say they were going to have the same thing, their pre-E3 EA Play event or whatever.
Correct.
What is
they're pulling the Nintendo.
So yeah, they'll still probably show some trailers and shit.
Yes, they absolutely will. But I guess they also just announced, and we didn't have it in our news of the week though. The new Star Wars game they've been talking about for the past year,
Jedi
Knights
Order
of
or something like that?
Jedi. Fallen Order.
Jedi.
There you go.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Has been announced that they're going to talk about it at the Star Wars Celebration, which is coming up next month in Chicago, and they did announce that it takes place between 3 and 4.
Wow.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. But anyways, I won't miss the E3.
No, I don't think many people will. Number 3, Captain Marvel does awesome on opening weekend. There you go. Transcendent even. I've heard them say.
Well, but for the point of this article that we were talking about, that we're talking about the amount of money that they made on opening weekend.
Great.
Second biggest Marvel movie, it beat out Black Panther behind Infinity War on opening weekend. So that's Thursday through Saturday, and also number 1 for any movie with a female lead ever. Any genre, any movie.
I gotta say,
It's awesome.
Captain Marvel has a lot less name recognition than Wonder Woman, and for them to do that shows the power of Marvel.
It does.
I mean, absolute power.
Yep.
I mean, everybody knows who Wonder Woman is. I don't think there's a whole ton of people who knew what Captain Marvel was.
No, I
going into this,
including me.
A lot of people, because I didn't.
And I do a talk show.
Not to spoil it, but I didn't understand the final after credits scene in Infinity Wars.
All right, stop.
I'm not saying
Stop
anything.
right now.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I didn't understand that until later when someone explained it to me, and then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right. So for them to land this big of an opening weekend for at least in name a female character that is well behind culturally Wonder Woman and her history is crazy. That just speaks the power of Marvel right now in our modern, society.
And I'm glad that the all those fucking trolls didn't have their way.
Eat crow.
They
ate lots of crow.
They still had their day though. When Rotten Tomatoes opened up the viewer ratings, they still fired on it. And,
they did, but everybody knew that was going to happen.
Everyone knew it was bullshit.
Right.
So it was.
I mean, we talked about it last week. Fuck the trolls, right? Those aren't the people that are fans. No. Those are people with some weird side agenda. Yeah. And I don't know, we haven't talked about this. Like, I don't want to make this like a rule for you all to follow, but for me personally, like I say in the future, when we get trollish shit like that against whatever minorities of any type, we don't cover it, period. Because that's all that they got out of it was the news that week. Everybody was talking about the trolls. And then this just proves that the fans of these movies could care less about that bullshit.
Right.
And it proves how smart Marvel is. They're just going to truck ahead and not cow down to whatever.
Well, Marvel 100%. Is now i.e. Disney.
Yeah, so
yes.
The greatest, their biggest moneymakers outside of the Avengers is Captain Marvel and Black Panther, right? So imagine what they're going to aim at going in the future here,
I know exactly where they're going. Miss Marvel's probably next. So they're going to have a Muslim American woman as a hero. I mean, it's all wide open.
Maybe
plus the Black Panther. Or the Black Widow movie, Fantastic Four, I think is a good one also, right? Like, and I just feel like it's really cool to me that that this is where the future lays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
People just need to wake up, and this is what the world is now. Yeah. Stop thinking about 1976 when you had an all-white team. It just doesn't work like that. The fan bases are all different people from different walks of life, different races, different nationalities, sexual orientation, whatever. I mean, wake up. That's
especially in the comic book community in general is, a very diverse and open-minded community. I feel like, and like you don't have too many. Crazy,
it's never been conservative.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Right.
So, anyways, let's stop talking about the trolls.
Yeah.
Going forward.
All right. Number one. Drum roll, please.
Number two.
Yes, number two.
Oh, number two. Drum roll, please.
We can skip number two.
I love number two.
Brian K. Vaughan will write Legendary's live-action Gundam film.
Sick.
And that's big news for us three. Jeff, not as much, but.
I don't
simply because it is Brian K. Vaughan. I mean, I don't know. I know zero about Gundam.
Same.
Well, I don't care about Gundam either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's about BKV.
I like BKV, but you lost me at Gundam, so I'm just like.
You lost me at Gundam too, but this bit of news means that I'm going to get into Gundam for the first time in my life, right? And it's going to be awesome. If BKV's writing it, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And it's very different from his previous works also, right? Like,
do you think that's...
Yeah, I'm really interested.
Do you think that's why we reported when he was putting Saga on hiatus?
That's a good little tidbit there.
Nice. Yeah, he said he had a lot of other projects.
Yeah, he said he's got other projects in the works,
I don't know if he's ever written things for film. I'm not really sure. But I'm really curious about that aspect of it, seeing his written word in film form.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
Number one, Game of Thrones, Season 8. The set will
kind
include...
of a two-parter, right?
Yeah, two-parter. We'll talk about the new trailer first,
Man.
and then also the set will include the quote-unquote longest consecutive battle sequence ever committed to film.
So I feel like, first of all, let's not talk details about the trailer. We normally do spoil trailers, but I know a shitload of people that are trying to catch up with Game of Thrones right now.
That is true.
And I feel like if all the cool stuff that I like about that trailer is super spoilery. Like, I couldn't even say a sentence about it, other than it was awesome. Like, that day when it hit, I was pumped up. I watched it like 3 times. I'm diagnosing and I'm talking about it with everybody I know. It was great. Great trailer.
Awesome. But I watched an interview on Colbert not too long ago with one of the actors that plays a character in Game of Thrones. Not to spoil it. No, I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah.
If I
Don't
said
say the actor.
it would spoil somebody that's...
who's still alive?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
See?
All right.
I'm catching.
I got you.
And he said that it took them 55 days to film this battle sequence.
Oh my God.
In the wintertime. And they did it all at night.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
So
I also saw somewhere on the internet that just for those people who know what we're talking about with the battle sequence and whatnot and where it takes place and all that stuff, I guess I don't know if this was an official thing. I just saw it on an image someplace, but it's that episode is the same weekend that Endgame comes out.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, get ready. Get ready.
We'll be good because Endgame comes out on a Thursday night, and Game of Thrones it won't launch until Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
And then after we record, we'll all be sleep deprived because we'll go watch the DVR and be like.
I'm just happy that we're this close to it. It felt like an eternity, but we're finally almost there.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a larger cultural moment than this game, this show ending? I don't know. I try to think of the scope of it. It's just so massive because so many people are involved and attuned to it and are ready at the same moment.
Well, and it's so ingrained now in our pop culture.
Yeah, it's like the biggest thing.
8 years, so you figure it came out in, 2010? Because they skipped
subtract another year. They skipped. Yeah, okay, yeah.
2010.
Yes. Yeah.
And, so for this past decade, basically, the whole decade of 2010 to 2020 we've all watched Game of Thrones, and it gets thrown into everything now. It's ranking up there, I think, with Star Wars references.
It's huge. Specifically right now, it's just it's so massive and prevalent just throughout everything.
I want to say also just a peek behind the curtain for the fans who actually listen to or watch these entire shows that we put out. When Game of Thrones hits, we might be bumping back the show a day during the week because we all just want to be able to enjoy it with our families and everything else, and not
absolutely.
It like tonight I'm missing American Gods to record this show, and I'll watch American Gods on the DVR later this week with my wife. Not willing to make that same sacrifice for the final season of Game of Thrones, right?
Well,
absolutely not.
You cannot go.
You might get spoiled.
It will get spoiled on Facebook because some idiot will want to spoil it, and you'll be at work going la 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 la.
The other thing is, even if they're not spoiling it, they're going to get their reactions online and say, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
and you'll be like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
You got to shut down from the internet during Game of Thrones. No Facebook, no Twitter.
Yep,
no
until you watch that
Snapchat. Yeah. Just like when Dirk blew the Academy Awards for me the last couple weeks ago.
I apologize. I'm yeah.
Fine.
Well, they didn't deserve that. Welcome back, everybody. This is our section of the show called Hot Topic.
Hot topic.
Hot Topic, where we cover something that we are interested in or something that's hot right now. This one is not necessarily hot. It's just something that I just read. But my hot topic for the week is this book by Robin Hobb. This is Assassin's Quest, but this is the last of the initial trilogy. This is the Farseer Trilogy. What I learned was that the Farseer Trilogy takes place in a larger series of 16 books called The Realm of the Elderlings, which is completed. She just finished, or not just finished, but I want to say 2 years ago, she just wrapped up the entire series. So I just finished the first trilogy. I gotta say, It is one of the best, outside of Lord of the Rings, one of the best fantasy properties I have ever read. I don't see why she's not getting the hype that somebody like Martin or Patrick Rothfuss is getting, but I cannot recommend it enough. So I'll try to summarize sort of what the story is about. It follows the life of a character named Fitz Chivalry Farseer, a.k.a. Fitz. He's a trained assassin in a kingdom called the Six Duchies. He follows his uncle, Prince Verity. They attempt to wage war on a group called the Red Ship Raiders. It's this group that's from the Out Islands. They're attacking the shores of their kingdom. And basically what they do when they attack is they turn the citizens into what's called forged ones, which is a form of zombification that sort of makes everybody emotionless and just rampant with murder and rape and all this awful stuff. But meanwhile, the Prince Regal, who is Verity's brother, is sort of the evil, the antagonist. He's jealous. He indulges in his own selfish whims. And he eventually threatens to destroy the Six Duchies themselves. The two big things...
Can I ask
go
a
ahead.
question?
Go ahead.
Just to is it other than... What did you call them that they turned them into?
They turn them into forged ones.
So other than the forged ones, is it fantasy? Is everyone a human besides the forged ones? Or
what are the races?
Yeah, everybody's human.
Oh, really?
The thing is, they don't specifically come out and say this, but you have the sense that there were more than humans at one time. They sort of reference it, that there's a race called the Elderlings. They don't go into detail, at least in this first trilogy, about what those were. But yeah, it's pretty much all humans. The thing that drew me to it is the magic, the way that they treat magic in it. There's two forms of magic. There's the skill, which is magic that sort of allows users to share thoughts and strength. So you can give somebody like your own energy from your body by touching them if you have the skill. But the cool part is the other form of magic is the wit. And Fitz, the main character, has both of these. He has access to the skill, and he has access to the wit. The wit is a form of magic that is sort of frowned upon by society. It's an ancient, distrusted magic which allows people to bond telepathically with animals. And it's very much frowned upon. Like, if people know that you have it, like, you're basically an outcast. People won't talk to you because they consider it to be mixing with beasts. That's sort of prevented. But main character has it, and he develops a relationship with a wolf that's like his go-to, like his best friend throughout the series. And you get so invested in this wolf because he and that wolf talk to each other back and forth in their minds, and it's just so awesome. Like, I think if you like stuff like Call of the Wild even, like, you would get into something like this.
So like if Guinevere could talk.
Yeah.
I guess you don't really... You didn't... Did you read the first three Juris books?
No, that's next. Yeah.
Bonabar, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, but basically, I mean, if you're into, like, telepathy with animals, reading about something like that, it's just awesome. I mean, I love that aspect of it. It's super brutal, some of the physical violence in it. There's some heavy emotional losses that like, will leave you sort of in the, the edge of your seat at the end of a book. And it's less, I find that it's less kitschy with the fantastical. I think she's a hell of a writer also. I don't feel the same about George R.R. Martin. I think with Martin, he plots really well. His story is great.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time, right?
Yeah, right. With Robin Hobb, she is just excellent. I think she's not too wordy, but she really puts you in the moment, and it's just richly detailed. It's just sort of beautifully brought to life. Nothing's treated as a mere backdrop. You really get the experience of what she's conveying in the story.
I gotta say, Dirk, like just my son, my youngest, it brought home from the library at school the Fellowship of the Ring today or this weekend, and I just picked it up last night while we were waiting. Me and Amy were about to watch some TV, and I picked it up and started flipping through it, and I read like 2 pages. I was like, oh my god, because I'm in the middle of Clash of Kings right now, which again, not to talk shit about Martin because I really like it, but. But reading Tolkien, I was just like, wow, this is beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful, right? So
he's poetic.
So for you to say that she's kind of whatever, just a better writer and able to convey things like that, it definitely gets me more excited about it.
Yeah, and I will say the setting is sort of traditional, like a vague middle age, swords and castles and whatever. But what she does within that is so different. Like when they engage in the skill, it's super psychedelic. Like I can see this in a sort of like a 60s, referencing Legion again, that kind of vibe. It feels very different. I was not expecting this when I started this trilogy. I thought it would be, good enough and run-of-the-mill fantasy, but it's definitely outside of that, and I cannot recommend it enough.
I think you've convinced me. I'll read that next.
Corey, you would fall in love with the wolf. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
you will absolutely fall in love with that wolf. Night Eyes is his name.
That's the thing. There are so many great authors out there that, especially in the high fantasy realm of writing, it's because it's not mainstream and
it's crowded.
If they have a bad publisher that doesn't have the in on the New York Times bestseller list, they write for the joy of writing and their small fan base.
Yeah, Brandon Sanderson's another one that comes up a lot.
I read one set of books by Raymond Feist. And it's excellent. It's pretty old, but another one is David Eddings. He wrote this 10-book series that follows the same character as a kid. All the way up, and
that's awesome.
It's amazing how detailed it gets, and
it's crazy how many get slept on. I think that genre particularly, because people tend to think that it's all the same. Yeah. But there really is nuance among some of these stories that really set them apart. That are just great stories.
And that's the thing is, if Hollywood was looking for a brand new idea. Have a new movie instead of remaking movies that don't need to be remade.
There's so much material out there.
There's so much. Now with CGI, you could do it.
A Drizzt movie. Come on, people.
Come on. That would be sick.
Cool.
That would be sick.
So that was our hot topic. I just want to recommend, this is Robin Hobb, the Farseer Trilogy. So check it out.
Scary Thoughts. Go check out the horror, philosophy, and culture podcast, Scary Thoughts. Co-hosts Mark, Kate, and Chad Locke cover classic and auteur horror films, going deep while keeping the conversation light. To listen, go over to iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, or wherever you like to receive your dark sermons from the cursed minds of the dead.
All right, everybody. We're about to go full spoilers on the Captain Marvel Spectacular. The Nate and Jeff show, breaking it all down.
Yeah. Wish I could be there.
Before we do that, if you have not seen Captain Marvel yet, definitely go back with us after you see Captain Marvel. If you're checking out now, thank you for watching the show this week. This has been Comically Gaming, episode 133. Really, really appreciate you if you make it this far into our shows. We love you. You're the ones that we're talking to right now, besides each other, right? Please consider supporting us over at patreon.com/GCANDC. You can support us for as little as $1 a month, and we will only use that money to make this product better for you.
Yeah, for sure. And find us on Twitter at GCANDC and join our Discord and Facebook groups. Look us up.
Cool. And if you want to support the show, you can grab a t-shirt, a hoodie, a mug, or a sticker. from Games, Comics, and Culture store at teespring.com. I plan on getting, I think, a yellow shirt for the summer, and I'm definitely getting a mug.
Yeah,
I need a hoodie.
I gotta get a shirt. Another one with the different design. And we always want to thank Fred Thomas for opening music and C. Ryder, even though she's on vacation this week in Florida, for her logo.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank y'all so much.
Hey, let me just throw out there. Hit up C over on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right, C Ryder, XEE.
I didn't know that.
That's how you spell C. Yeah, she posts her artwork up there on a daily basis,
That
and
is awesome.
yeah, it's really
C. Ryder, Reiter.
Are we doing a CBBC next week?
I believe Fables #1.
Yeah, Fables
Let's do it.
#1.
So read up on Fables #1 if y'all want to hit us next week. Welcome back, everybody. This is our section of the show where we give the love back to the fans to basically thank you guys for believing in us, for loving us, and to show that we love you back.
Yeah.
You mean the world to us. There's certain ones out there in the YouTube community that I can think of. I won't go into names, but we talk weekly now, so I wouldn't have known these people. It's crazy.
Most of these people are doing the same thing as us, so go out there, check out their channels.
Absolutely. Check their channels out. What's great about YouTube is that we have fans, and we're fans of shows all across the world, actually. I mean, it's everywhere from Scotland, Australia. It's crazy. So without further ado, we have our name of the week. This is basically our award that we give to people, basically the YouTube channels that we check out, our favorite name. So for this week, I have Factor Zero.
And don't forget Mr. B Legends.
Oh, nice.
Fun Days Toy Shop.
And Sunshine.
I wonder how they got that correct of a name. That's crazy. So
name of the week.
So without further ado, our name of the week. We cherish this award when we give it out to people. It's the best thing that can happen to you in your career, personal, professional, or otherwise. You will never look back once you get this award. So I'm gonna say Sunshine is my name of the week.
Sunday Fun Days Toy.
Fun Days Toy Shop for Nate.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was good. Sunshine.
I can go
All right.
Sunshine.
Oh, we got a gold award
Congratulations.
for Sunshine. You are our golden name of the week.
You are our sunshine.
Sweet. And we stream every Sunday night, and we are really starting to get some regulars on here. I know. Special shout out to Captain Emo. He jumped on the minute it was probably about 4 seconds after I started the stream. He popped up, and it was great because then I knew the chat was working tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Emo
That's a
jumped
crew.
on. Old School Savage, Dezombified.
Yeah.
Lauren came in at the end.
Lauren's old school.
Lauren is she?
Yeah, she's been with us for
Yeah,
years
she's
at
been
this
for a while,
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Maverick and Couple Up. I didn't even see them pop in.
Yeah, I saw them in the chat. They dropped in for a second, so I had
Their channel is great.
Well, and I didn't end the stream like within an hour, and then I ended it like on a cliffhanger. I just okay, well, we're good, and I dropped it. And but it was a good stream. No, it was a really good stream. So don't forget, we stream every Sunday,
9:30 Eastern time.
9:30 Eastern time for about
Get
an
in
hour.
it.
Jump
Get
on
in
and
it.
talk to us. Have fun.
Get in it.
Join the crew.
Wow. So if you have made it this far, that is truly awesome. Because me and Nate are going full spoilers. And I mean full spoilers on Captain Marvel.
Yep.
So if you haven't watched it, stop watching right now and go see it, and then you can watch it. because
Yeah, very spoiler. Could be. I feel like as far as spoilers go, there's a ton of them in this movie, right?
There's so much going on in this movie.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You know, it was a great movie. I will say that it was a great movie. I don't know with your description of transcending. But
I'll let you give an overview first before I kind of go into that.
I think that the first 20 minutes was very disjarring to me for someone that doesn't know Captain Marvel and the origin story or anything like that. The way they did about the first 20 minutes was really weird because it was just jumping all over the place.
I think that's kind of purposeful because all the time jumps that this movie has, right?
Yeah. I thought it was...
I hear you, though.
I thought it was... I loved the 90s references. It seems like they're trying to transition us now to start going 90s. And 80s was a big thing in the last couple of years, and now the 90s, they want to... Because everything they did was the 90s.
It's retro now.
The 90s callbacks were killing
Vintage.
Me. When she was in the internet cafe.
Yeah.
And she pulled up that old search window.
Yeah, totally. Or even when they were loading the sound file on the computer, and everybody's just sitting there around the room awkwardly looking at each other, right?
And she's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, it's loading." Oh,
yeah.
But no, it was good. I liked how they kept Samuel L. Jackson, and they used makeup to make him young.
I thought that was all computer work, not makeup.
I think it was makeup. I don't know if it was CGI. It was great CGI if it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, but I don't know that for a fact.
But
so Jeff, I will say, like, just as an overview, like, to me, this movie, like, I don't want to compare it to the other movies, but this movie, when I said, like, transcendent, like, this movie's only possible as the 21st movie in a series, and all the different callbacks and things that happened. These characters in plot lines are so deep now that, you know, when you first see Agent Coulson, it's like, oh fuck, like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things like that. You know, I mean, the Tesseract is the main one. Mm-hmm. You know, Korath, who I don't know if you recognize, he was one of the Kree. He's in the opening of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He's the one that doesn't recognize Star-Lord when Star-Lord tries to, like, name drop himself, and the guy's like, who? Like, that's one of the characters in this movie. You know, the Project Pegasus. Yeah. I don't know if you remember from the first Avengers movie. That's where they're doing S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing the tests on the Tesseract, where Loki comes and steals it from. It says right on that building, Project Pegasus there. Stuff. The Quinjet, right? Like, the Avengers jet, like the fact that they show, like, its origins in this movie. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, the Protector Initiative, which he looks at the picture and deletes it and changes it to the Avengers Initiative. Like, you know, all that stuff is like these little things. Like, we talked about, you know, Corey and Dirk, who haven't seen the movie yet, were saying that they've heard people are like, oh yeah, fun, good movie. Like, if you haven't been paying attention, then they did this movie for both, right? They did this for the casual fan who hasn't been paying attention, who can just watch a fun action comic book movie, right? But they also threw in all this other stuff for the hardcore fans, and like I say, it's unprecedented to have a 21 movie story arc. Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's really, even just the littlest things are very impactful, I feel like, when they pop up in this, you know.
Well, you know, I haven't, when I've watched the Marvel movies, it's been very out of sync from when they came out, and not knowing that much about this whole story arc with Thanos and the Avengers and Infinity War and all that. I caught some of the stuff like Agent Coulson. I caught that because I'd watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a while back, so that name was familiar. I didn't pick up on the project, the Pegasus.
Right. Sure.
But I did, the Tesseract in this one, it shows that the one that Loki stole is not the one that cat threw up.
Yeah, it is.
Is
yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
okay. I see the timeline. Okay.
So the full, I actually had to research it to make sure I knew what the hell I was talking about. But the full timeline is the Tesseract is in the first Captain America movie.
Yeah.
The Red Skull tries to harness its powers to make weapons for the Nazis and stuff like that. When he tries to fight Captain America with it, it shoots him off into space where he ends up in the Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
It ended up in the ocean at the crash at the end of that first Captain America movie. Tony's father went looking for Captain America and found it on the ocean floor, gave it to Shield, who was working on it in the first Avengers movie in Project Pegasus. Now, in this movie, we learn that what's her name?
Carol Danvers?
No, her mentor, who turns out is a Kree
Marvel,
scientist, the first Marvel, was secretly using it to try and help the Skrull, escape. What do you call it? Massacre or whatnot from the other Krees. Yeah, genocide. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, that's kind of the wavering of it. And then after this, so Shield had it, and then it showed up back in the first Avengers still with Shield working on it, and that's where Loki came in to steal it.
See, I thought it was a second Tesseract because the way that they did the timeline at the first clip at the end of the initial credits, that was awesome because it showed Cap sitting there, and you see Bruce, and then you see the pager that Nick Fury was using, and I mean, as soon as it panned and showed Cap, the whole audience that was still there, because people left. I'm like, where are you going?
Nobody left in my theater for the first time ever. That's funny. Nobody left.
And everyone's like, at the same time, they're like, that's Cap. And so the way they did that was, I thought it was more future when they went to the end credit clip where it shows the cat sitting on Nick Fury's desk.
Oh.
And Nick wasn't there because I thought, I thought that they were lining up for Infinity Wars because he was one that was wiped out by Thanos, and so the cat was there getting rid of the Tesseract at that point. That's what I thought.
See, the reason why I feel like that was still in the past is because his computer monitor was fat.
Oh, I didn't
on his desk. Yeah, it was super fat, right? So that was still that one was still in the past. But yeah, I can see there's so many time jumps in this movie that I could see that being confusing. So, so another thing, I really almost cried. Maybe a little bit. I did cry for the Stan Lee cameo.
Oh, dude, I know.
Right?
And what was so awesome about that was it's probably the last. I can't say that because I have a feeling the way that. With Captain Marvel coming out now, and then we have Endgame coming up in a month, that he probably shot a cameo in Endgame.
Oh, no, he was CG in this.
He was CG? Okay.
Yes, that was not Stan Lee. He was CG.
Right. The best thing is he was holding that Mallrats script.
Yes.
And I thought that was awesome. That was like a little salute to Kevin Smith.
Yeah, not only that.
And it gives you the time period.
Well, and he was reading his line in his cameo in Mallrats.
Oh.
So he was practicing for Mallrats by reading the script for the line that he was about to say in that. Awesome. I read about this week about Kevin Smith was super emotional about it also. But it made me emotional also. And also just the opening now that they changed the Marvel crawl or whatever to be all Stan Lee cameos. Yeah. And then even when it said thank you to Stan or whatever at the end of it, awesome. That was it's super, super awesome. For sure.
But I mean it was a great movie, and like you said, if you're not a diehard Marvel fan, I think the things that I picked up on a lot initially was all the 90s throwbacks. Yeah. That was the entertainment for people that don't really follow it deeply. And then you caught all the really deep-seated Easter eggs and everything.
Yeah, that's why I think this movie is so successful, that it's for both of those fans, right? I am curious. I'll be curious. I know Dirk has said several times that he's super invested about the Secret Invasion, right? Secret Invasion is the comic book storyline that this is kind of based around. Doing a little bit of research after this, because I have not read Secret Invasion, is that in Secret Invasion, the Skrulls are the bad guys. They imitate like leaders all around the world and try and take over the world or whatnot. They're not the secret good guys like they are in this movie. So I'm curious, Dirk, who's invested in the comic book storyline, if that'll be a turnoff to him or not once he actually sees it. But just that kind of whatever. To me, I like the fact that it's different than the comic books. So fans of the books, it's something new for them also. It's not just a line for line, thing. Yeah, absolutely. And then just a couple other things that I found out kind of while I was kind of reading articles, watching videos after I saw the movie. In Winter Soldier, Nick Fury says, "The last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye."
Oh.
And little do we know that it's a freaking cat that he holds up to his eye, right? So, that one was pretty funny. Let's see. What else did I have in here? I also found out, so Monica Rambeau, who's the daughter in Louisiana there. Yeah. She is a character called Photon in the comics.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny how there was some line in this book about in this movie, I'm sorry, about only if you learn to glow like Auntie Carol or whatnot.
Yeah, I remember that line, yeah.
Photon has that power. She can fly around in space and she glows and all that stuff, just the same as Captain Marvel. So I thought that was pretty cool as well.
I thought it was. I mean, overall, it was a great movie. It was a fun movie, and you have to really watch it. Now it makes me want to go and watch Winter Soldier again and the Avengers just to tie it back into the storyline. I know.
It's funny. I was trying to pull all those through lines into conversation with my kids after we left the movie and all that. Yeah. And my youngest kid, he's 10, he's about to turn 11, and I was trying to be like, do you remember who the villain was in the first Guardians of the Galaxy and how he's in this movie? Do you remember all? And he's like, no, I don't. I'm like, the dance-off. You remember the dance-off? He goes, no. He goes, I remember the Groot bubble. I was like, no, when the Groot bubble landed. Remember the dance-off? He's like, no. So I'm like, yeah, after we do the Star Wars watch, we might have to watch all the Marvel movies and all that as well. The one other thing that I'll say about Captain Marvel, Jeff, is the soundtrack was great, right?
It was.
In the same way that the Guardian of the Galaxy soundtrack was great, this one was great for 90s music, right?
It was. My only complaint was there were a few songs that when they tried to make the time that this movie came out, some of those songs didn't come out until later in the 90s. And,
right.
But that's really nitpicky because, they have to find music that everyone's going to key up on. But
sure. My favorite one was "Come As You Are."
Yeah,
was playing
Little Nirvana.
But the fact that "Come As You Are" was the song when the AI kind of really identified herself as the villain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and wanted to fight her. That was a really good placement there.
Placement. Well, I love that she was wearing a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt.
Yeah,
she picked and I want to watch it again just because I know I'll pick up stuff that I missed the first time.
Yeah. Because
that first 20 minutes, it does a lot of time jumps, so you're trying to piece together and map it out as you go. And, and sometimes I felt like some of the dialogue was just a filler dialogue, and I wasn't really paying attention because I was looking at other stuff on the screen.
Sure. Yeah, it is one of those things where not only is it time jump, but it's also her trying to piece her memories together. So the first time you watch it, it's like, okay, it opened with the dirt and flames.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until the final scenes of the movie where you really understood that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, totally. And I guess the one last kind of just reviewing the movie part that I'll throw in here was the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like when he wanted to do the fist fights, and she's like, "No, fuck off!" Boom, blast him against the wall. It's funny. It was great.
That was great. That there's a lot of that. That's why I got to watch it again because they even did a salute to Terminator 2 when she steals the motorcycle.
Oh
because
yeah,
Terminator 2 came out in the 90s, and so that was another one. So
for sure. And now that you say that too, it's getting me to remember when she's in Blockbuster, she picks up the right stuff. Yeah, right. Which is perfect because that's the space movie and exploration and all that stuff. Like, yeah, that's really, really great.
Yeah, and that's why you got to watch it a couple times. And I'm just glad that the audience was quiet and not talking. Nice. I've been to ones where they're talking, they have their phone, and it's like super bright. And...
Yeah, I'll cut some throats or something.
I did go and watch this with a friend.
Yeah.
Time, and it was nice to walk out of a Marvel movie and not have to explain stuff to the person. You could talk about it, and they're on the same level.
Right. So. Right. Yep. Right. Awesome. Well, yeah, that's great. And we've got less than a month to Endgame.
We got a lot of things coming up.
Yeah.
Shazam and
it'll be an awesome little spring here for sure.
It's gonna be crazy. Spend more time at the theater than doing anything else.
Right, totally. All right, cool. Anything else?
No, I think we've covered it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Dirk, don't watch this when you're editing. I'll just say that.
I'll help him through it.
But yeah, so this has been our spoiler section for Captain Marvel and the end of Comically Gaming episode 133.
Yeah, thank you everybody so much. Yeah.